François Fillon says that Brexit could have advantages for the European Union. He was delivering a speech on his programme for the future of the 27-nation bloc. The former Prime Minister is trailing behind far-right leader Marine Le Pen and independent centrist Emmanuel Macron. The latest opinion poll shows that Le Pen is leading by 25% of votes, with Macron following closely with 24% and Fillon trailing with 20%.
The Acting National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Kgomotso Phahlane, will address the nation on security-related matters ahead of tomorrow's planned marches taking place across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Colonel Athlenda Mati, the spokesperson to the Acting National Police Commissioner. In our presence this evening is the Acting National Police Commissioner himself, Lieutenant General Kgomotso Phahlane. On his right is the Deputy National Commissioner for Policing, Lieutenant General Masemula. To General Phahlane's left side is the Divisional Commissioner for Operational responsible for operational services. Ladies and gentlemen, the General will address the media. We will then open the floor for questions. It is now to General.
Thanks very much, Athlenda. Good evening to you all. We thought it is important that we do a briefing on our readiness in as far as policing tomorrow's events are concerned. The people of South Africa have over the past few days been mobilized to participate in protest action and or marches on Friday the 7th of April 2017. It is common knowledge that the laws of our country do not permit participation in any unlawful activities, including illegal protests and or marches. It is a must that organizers and structures responsible for mobilizing people comply with the provision of our laws in securing approval for any gathering that is being planned. This process is critical to enable the law enforcement agencies, in particular the South African Police Service, to mobilize resources to meet the policing demands of our people. The mandate of the South African Police Service demands from us to ensure the safety and security of all people in South Africa. Section 205 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa directs that the South African Police Service shall prevent, combat and investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and to uphold law enforcement. The events of tomorrow, Friday the 7th of April 2017, demands from the South African Police Service to ensure the maintenance of public order in the execution of the mandate relating to crowd management and policing of crowds during protest action and marches. It is against this background that the South African Police Service deemed it fit to place it on record that the marches planned in and around the city of Tshwane are for all practical purposes illegal. The organizers of the respective marches and or protest action failed to ensure approval from the relevant authorities. All these marches and protest actions are considered illegal, and anyone participating in such will be contravening the laws of our country. To those that were granted permission to march in the cities of Johannesburg, Cape Town, Mbombela, and eThekwini are called upon to do so in a responsible and policing and peaceful manner. The South African Police Service respects the rights of our citizens to protest. As an organization, we monitor dozens of protest actions across the country on a daily basis to ensure the safety and security of all role players. We are proud of our track record of late when dealing with unauthorized or authorized protest, which takes a violent turn, where we ensure the exercising of maximum restraint while applying measures of minimum force to deal with the situation at hand. But with every right, there is an accompanying responsibility. The South African Police Service calls upon all persons contemplating taking part in approved protest action on the 7th of April to do so responsibly and to conduct themselves at all times within the confines of the laws of our country. This entails demonstrating peacefully, abiding by the laws, respecting the rights of others, and paying due respect to the prohibition of carrying dangerous weapons, especially but not limited to firearms. The National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure has been mobilized and will monitor the situation around the clock with a view to deploying appropriate government departments and security forces according to the prevailing circumstances. We, however, have confidence in our citizens that they will conduct themselves in a befitting manner. As the lead department in security-related matters, the South African Police Service urges all key role players, including political parties and community leaders, to refrain from making public statements which would inflame tensions, incite violence, or lead to criminal activity or disturbance of peace. Whilst the security forces and law enforcement agencies are in place to deal decisively with any situation, let us work together to ensure that this does not become a necessity. So we thought it is important that we place it on record that as we are sitting here, all protest marches planned for the city of Tshwane are considered to be illegal, as no approval has been granted by the relevant authorities. Despite that, we will be on the ground. We will deploy accordingly to make sure that we contribute towards the safe and security of all. At the same time, while we know that the protest marches were approved for Johannesburg, the city of eThekwini, Mbombela, our officers in those areas will accordingly police those marches and or protest action. We hope that it's going to be peaceful and incident-free. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to correctly acknowledge in our presence Lieutenant General Mawena, the Divisional Commissioner responsible for operational response services. The floor is now open. We will take questions. We will start with the first four. Please remember to introduce yourself and the media house that you represent.
Good evening, Iman Repeti from EMCA. Lieutenant General, there's mixed messages coming through on whether approval for March in Tshwane has been granted or not, because a short time ago we heard that the magistrate in court, based on Section 27's application, had approved the march. So just let us know, as of this moment in this gathering, whether there has been communication to you from the court, whether this information is late or in fact trumps whatever happened in the court earlier, as far as we understand. And if approval is still not granted, can you give us the reasons why, please? Thank you.
The next one. Gentlemen.
Good day, everyone. Excuse me. My name is Johnny Sai Maromo. I'm with African News Agency, Pretoria. Just to amplify from my colleague's question, please. When you plan for the protest like tomorrow, do you also take into cognizance, or do you work with the municipal officials Because the Tshwane mayor has been saying that there was no protest which has been turned down for himself. Do you work with them when you do your plans, or do you do your things on your own side? Thanks so much, sir.
Offense Steve from SABC.
Thanks. Commissioner, I'd like to find out in terms of the deployment in the cities that will be affected by the marches, the breakdown of police deployment. Thanks.
Do we have another question from the floor? The gentleman in the front.
Samuel Masara from Japan News. Acting Police Commissioner, can you please tell us if there's been a miscommunication and you have no knowledge of the grants of the protest given by the magistrates, what is there to take from this lack of communication between all levels of the state and of the government? And also, is there any political connection to the Safe SA protest here in Tshwane not being granted? What is happening, General? Thank you.
General, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. I thought I was very clear that as we are sitting here, we do not have approval for any of the marches or protest action planned for Tshwane. So if there are rumors circulating that there is approval, it remains rumors until we are provided with something concrete. I have here two documents. The first one, it reads, application for South African Communist Party march from Old Patco Depot to Department of National Treasury is prohibited. Your application dated the 31st of March 2017 refers. Due to non-compliance, note that your march for the 7th of April will be illegal and a case docket will be opened. Now this letter is directed to Mr. Sipho Madonzela. And there is a second one which comes from also from the Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department, directed to Mr. Mark Haywood, which reads, application for National Coalition Against State Capture, march from Church Square to Union Buildings is prohibited. Your application dated the 2nd of April 2017 refers. Due to non-compliance, note that your march for 7th April 2017 will be illegal and a case docket will be opened. So I don't know how much clearer can we be. We are talking of documents. These two documents are dated the 6th of April. Today it happens to be the 6th of April. If these organizations approached court, by the time we came here, we did not have an outcome of that court process, if there is any such. So I can't talk about something that I don't know of. We are communicating facts here.
Can I follow up on that? And just to the point the colleague raised, I mean, a short time ago we heard that the court had in fact granted the go-ahead. And I think to the point that my colleague made was, surely when you come to a briefing like this, the story keeps moving and developing. The Section 27 organization went to court at the 11th hour to try and secure this. And here is the decision of the court. The Chief Magistrate of Pretoria has given the Save South Africa campaign permission for tomorrow's People's March on the Union Buildings. The march is on. It's a safe, legal protest with the approval of the authorities. I mean, this is just a staggering... Is it just about the timing that, you weren't informed at the 11th hour, or... it is bizarre.
There is nothing bizarre. You are making an issue out of nothing, Iman. First, application for protest marches are not processed by the courts. Application for protest marches are being directed to the authority, which happens to be the Metropolitan Police and the structures at that level. What came out of that process is a communication that I am in possession of here. So if the organizers were unhappy with this, and they happen to have went to court, they have exercised their right to do so. But you can't come here and tell us it's bizarre not to have an outcome of a process that we are not privy to.
All right, so what is the status then, sir? Is the march, based on what we know now, will it go ahead? Is it legal?
You see, the point that we are trying to make here is it's immaterial whether you are dealing with an illegal or a legal march. We are saying to you, as the South African Police Service, we are going to be policing that event. So your grievances on whether it was approved or not before we came here must be directed elsewhere. We are going to be policing whichever march or protest action is taking place tomorrow. And whether it is legal or illegal, it is not changing the fact that people must conduct themselves responsibly, that they must behave as the laws expect from us to protest peacefully. That's not going to change the situation. The only thing that may change is the fact that we would have been policing an illegal march. And if there is an outcome of a court process which is a permission is being granted, it will still be policed as a legal protest. So there is no confusion on this one, and I don't know why we should be making an issue out of it.
Moving on then, ladies and gentlemen, any more questions?
Sorry, Chair, don't forget us here in Cape Town.
Cape Town, you are acknowledged.
Okay, may I still respond to
You may
questions?
respond, General.
Okay. There was a question by Johnny on whether we do participate when applications are being processed. Yes, we do participate. Our structures at the station and cluster level are participating at that level. And that's why when there is a decision coming out of that structure relating to any application, we will know whether this is a legal or an illegal match. So there is no communication breakdown on this one, as some people will want to suggest.
It's back to the floor.
There was another question.
Breakdown on deployments.
Breakdown on deployments. Unfortunately, you will have to rely on rumors. Those facts will not be communicated because they remain operational matters that we do not want to put out there. Safe to say that we have mobilized our resources to be able to deal with the situation that we are confronted with. Having said that, it is also important that as the people of Tshwane or anyone who is participating in these marches contribute towards ensuring that they are successful and they do not turn violent or where, for example, we end up with cases where property is being vandalized. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Our colleagues in Cape Town, do we have any questions for the General?
Yes, we do. Over to you, Paul.
Cape
Good
Town.
evening, Acting National Commissioner Paul Vecchiato from Bloomberg. The Presidency has issued a statement saying they have no objection to the march in Tshwane to the Union buildings. And the Mayor of Tshwane has also indicated or said publicly that permission has been granted. So are you sure that you are not treading the bounds of legality yourselves here? Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Good evening, Marion Merton, Daily Maverick. To the Acting National Police Commissioner or perhaps the General in charge of operations, at this stage, is it not absolutely crucial for the police actually to inform itself whether the march is legal or illegal? I would have thought that policing a legal march is significantly different to policing an illegal march, presumably Illegal Gatherings Act, which if the march goes ahead and the leadership of the SABC continues to believe that it is illegal, it might require the arrest of thousands of people. Could you comment and clarify that, please?
That's it for now. Back to you.
Thank you, Cape Town. General?
Yeah, let me deal with both your questions simultaneously. And we are very clear that irrespective of whether the march is illegal or legal, the police will police that particular march, irrespective. If, for example, it is a legal march, yes, the dynamics change. But that's a matter that we'll deal with at our level, also in interacting with the organizers and or the leadership. I have said when we stepped in here, what we had was a fact that the 20 marches were not approved. And I have just read through 2 documents dated the 6th of April, coming from the Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department, which is the relevant authority in this regard, which were saying that both the marches or protest action in Tshwane were non-compliant and thus were considered to be illegal. If the situation changes because of an outcome of a court process, which then legalizes these marches and or protest action, the police will not change it to an illegal march or an illegal protest because it is outside our competency to do so. Ours is to make sure that those events are policed accordingly. And your suggestion of arresting hundreds and thousands of people, it's really far-fetched. Even if that march were to be illegal, we never go into a process of wanting to pick each and everyone who is there and say you are participating in an illegal march. If it is illegal, a case docket will be opened, and that case docket will be investigated. And the people that are to answer in the case of an illegal march becomes the organizers and or the leadership of that particular organization that was responsible for organizing such. So you are not going to get any excitement from the police wanting to pick each and every person who's participating and placing them in custody.
It's back to the floor, the lady in blue.
Could you disclose to us the reasons for the non-compliance, or the nature of it? And then also, there were allegations about an attack on Section 27 members who were at a church square last night. Could you give us an idea whether the police has been able to make further progress in that investigation?
Thank you. Other questions, Iman?
Forgive my ignorance, but I mean, I'm still struggling with the point. If it's an illegal march or a legal march, police will behave the same. So I'm just questioning why anyone would need to make it legal then if the response by the police operationally is going to be exactly the same. The second question would be, we've heard MKMVA mobilizing 600 members to guard and protect Luthuli House tomorrow. Is this of operational concern?
Let's take a question from the gentleman at the back.
Okay, thanks. My name is Aserin Ndlovu from Tshwane Capital. General, can I quickly ask here, there's a statement that was released by the minister, the new minister at the Public Service and Administration, Ms. Faith Mutambi, about I personally took it, or Tshwane Capital took it as a threat to the public servants that tomorrow they must go to work, regardless of whatever happens. So did she, or have you seen this statement, and are you gonna make means to protect the people that are working in such departments, especially the ones that are in the central of Tshwane? Thank you.
It's back to you, General.
Thanks. Azri, maybe just in brief, tomorrow is a working day. Public servants are expected to be at work. And our duty is not only to be protecting public servants, is to be protecting every citizen. And they will equally enjoy our protection as the police. And I do know that we, as the South African Police Service, have issued a directive to our members, reminding them that they are part and parcel of the essential services, and that we cannot afford any one of us not presenting him or herself at work. So it is expected of public servants to be at work, and those that are supposed to be at work, because it's a normal working day tomorrow. It's not public holiday. Iman, maybe there is a problem in the language that I'm using. There is a serious problem. If your suggestion is that we are suggesting that it doesn't matter whether it is legal or illegal, I'm going to repeat myself. Whether it is legal or illegal, the police are going to police that much. The only thing that will distinguish the two is with an illegal march or an illegal protest, a case will be opened relating to the contravention of the law. You do not open a case in the instance of a legal march. Whether it is legal or illegal, if there is any criminality flowing out of that, the police are going to act. They are never going to be spectators and say, this one was a legal march, that one was an illegal march. So we must not try and confuse the public here. The police understand their mandate. We are saying any march, any protest action will be policed. Those that are responsible for organizing any march or any protest action are equally to take responsibility. For example, for the marshalling of the people from point A to point B. It makes life much more easier for us if people have applied and the march or the protest has been approved, because the numbers are made visible. It becomes clearer for us what the resource requirements are to be deployed in that particular situation. And it makes life much more easier in that you are in position to engage with the organizers and share with them what their responsibility in respect of the march is. So it should be very clear. Whether you are going to participate in an illegal one is the one that was not approved, where there is no compliance with the laws. If there was a compliance with the laws and the relevant authority has granted approval, the police will still be there. Because somewhere someone will be claiming that there were foreign elements that came in and they took advantage of the situation and they vandalized the place, and people are distancing themselves from them. So you must be actually excited knowing that the police are going to be there and they will do their work. On the Luthuli House, I don't think Luthuli House there is a march. It is maybe people that are being called to the office which belongs to them. But as to what numbers and what the intention is, what is going to be happening, we will equally be keeping a close eye in that particular area to make sure that everyone is protected. So we are not just going to be focusing one side. We have to be focusing everywhere where a number of people have gathered. Antoinette, I am unfortunately not aware of what the reasons are for not approving. What is it that was not complied with? When I look at the letter, for example, the one refers to your application dated the 2nd of April. The other one say the application dated the 31st of March. I'm not sure whether it has to do with the timelines within which the applications were submitted. But that information, if it was important, we can obtain it from our officers that have been part and parcel of the process. So unfortunately, I do not have the details. Yes, I've learned about the attack on Section 27. I'm speaking under correction. I think a case has been opened at the Pretoria Central Police Station following that incident, and the case will be investigated. And if anyone is found to have been responsible here, they will be dealt with accordingly.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now taking the last round of questions. Cape Town, do you have any more questions?
Yes, over to you, Paul.
General Paul Vecchiato from Bloomberg. I don't understand. We have got the papers from the courts giving permission for the march in Tshwane to go ahead. Mr. Hayward's march, organised by Section 21, I think it is. 27, I beg your pardon, Section 27. How come we can get it, and you're so far behind the times that I don't think if you've had breakfast or dinner at the moment. Thank you.
That's it for now. Back to you.
Thank you, Cape Town. Any more questions in Pretoria? The gentleman in black.
Hi, good evening to you, General. It's Kgomotso here from ENCA. Just to get a bit of a clarity again, General, like you say that obviously the police would be out and about whether the march is illegal or legal, but I just want to get a clarity whether will you have some limits of some sort, because obviously, I mean, it's just an illegal gathering, as it were. So will you have some certain parameters? For example, if they want to go to the union buildings, will they be forbidden from going to any of those areas? Thank you.
Two more questions, and we're calling it a night. Iman?
I just wanted to ask, in general, Lieutenant General, police rely on intelligence to inform how you proceed. Have you received anything that is a red flag around these marches in general that you are permitted to share with the public?
The lady in blue.
General, do you have any information about the availability of public transport tomorrow in all these cities?
Last question from the floor.
General, what is actually going on here? The presidency has just tweeted they are not against the march. The mayor of Tshwane says he never said the march is not allowed in the city. What is actually going on? Who said the march can't go on? I think you are privy to such information. Can you please give clarity to the nation? What is actually going on? Because the mayor of Tshwane says permission was granted by them. The presidency says they're not against the march. What is going on? Who's playing who here? Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. General, it's back to you.
I don't know who you are. You said General. You did not introduce yourself. So say.
I did say earlier on, my name is Kgomotso.
Say. Mayor of Tshwane would have tweeted. He is not tweeting to me. I can only respond to you not on rumors. I can only communicate facts. And the facts that I have at my disposal is that we have 2 letters from the Metropolitan Police Department, which I have already read the comments thereof to you. If you have this tweet from the mayor of Tshwane and from the presidency, I work on official documents coming out of here. If I'm being told now that there is a court outcome, that court outcome will be complied with by the police. We have no reason to be doing anything different from what the courts direct, and we are going to be policing tomorrow's protest marches. So for you to suggest that we are playing games here, we are not in a playing mode. We are here to communicate to the nation the readiness of the police to deal with the situation. And I'm talking whether it is a legal march or an illegal march, the police are going to execute their mandate. We are not only mandated. You may ask him just to give quiet so that I can deal with it.
The floor has been closed for questions. Please.
We are not getting.
Please respect the general. The floor has been closed for questions. General, you may proceed.
I've answered this question and I'm not going to deal with it again. If you are unsatisfied, tomorrow when you wake up, you'll be very much satisfied knowing that the police are on the ground and they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. Antoinette, I can't express myself on the availability of the buses, but I take it's a normal working day. The buses will be running. Where, for example, there is a challenge, especially with the routes and so on, I think both the Tshwane Metropolitan Police and ourselves will be in and around the vicinity to do what we are supposed to be doing in ensuring the safety of those that are traveling, as well as the buses that are moving in and around. But as to whether there will be buses, I truly cannot tell. There was Iman, the intelligence question is an operational one. We can't disclose much. Safe to say that we do know that there will be an influx of people in the cities, whether it is Tshwane, whether it is Johannesburg. There is going to be an influx. So it is not you are not going to have the normal daily numbers that you are dealing with, and that in itself will impact a little bit on the traffic situation and so on. But as to the information that is at an operational level, we'll keep it there.
I understand. I've just given Atlende a copy of the court judgment. I don't know if that impacts. I know that it seems to be around the semantics, but I think it's important for people who are marching to know that they're doing legally so, that they're not breaking the law, they're not engaging in an illegal march. That potentially could be a deterrent for people who might want to exercise the democratic right to not do so because they don't want to be seen to be doing something outside of the law. So I've given Atlende a copy of that court judgment. I don't know if you want to have a quick squiz at it and maybe then see whether that changes anything.
It's not going to change much. I've already said, if the approval is granted, everyone that you are mobilizing to be there, they are listening to you now. That you say.
I'm not mobilizing anyone. I'm not a conference.
No, but
organizer.
That's the indication I got, and I think you're doing an excellent job by emphasizing the point. So, what we are saying as the police is that we came here to brief the nation on our readiness and the fact that on record we have a non-compliant application of both. Now, you have a scoop You are saying to us, no, but it comes out of court. So we are going to interface with that document, and we are going to use that to be able to advise our operational people accordingly. It is not my responsibility to mobilize the people. It is the organizers' responsibility. So allow them space to do that. I'm not going to take over their job because they don't speak on our behalf.
Sir, if I may respond with respect.
Yeah.
Again, to go to the point, I think it's important for people. I'm not a campaign organizer, and I really reject that assertion that I'm trying to mobilize people to get involved in a march. We are here to represent the public's right to know. And they want to know, if I'm taking part in a march, am I taking part in a legal or an illegal march? So that is the information we're trying to clarify. I've given Aglende a copy of the court judgment. To me, that's really easy to connect the dots. You can have a look at it. For the signal to come from your office that it is a legal march. I think intellectually and just psychologically, I mean, people would want to be on the right side of the law. And that's basically what I'm saying.
Iman, I called a press conference to brief the nation. You surely do not expect me here to be reading court judgments, including what went in there. I'm not just going to go and read a line. So can you respect our role and the fact that if there is an outcome of court, we are going to be interfacing with it, and it will be communicated as such. And the organizers, they have done a good job in mobilizing the people. They will accordingly use the same mechanism that they have been mobilizing people and say, now we have the approval, and that approval comes from court. So let's respect each other in that regard. There was another question relating to the union building. The union building is a national key point, and it will remain a national key point, and our policing of that area is obviously stricter than any other area. So we will study what we are told has been approved and say and see to where is the march. But when we came in here, we came in knowing that there is no march to the union buildings. If the march happens and it is a legal one, we will do what we normally do in ensuring that we guard against any breach of security in that area.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now closed for questions. Please take note that none of the generals will engage in a one-on-one interview. They will be heading to meet the relevant stakeholders to discuss and be briefed on the latest developments. Thank you so much for joining us in Pretoria and also.
No, but there was a question in what is it in Cape Town? Yeah.
Cape Town, are there any more questions?
Paul?
No, we don't have any further questions.
No, there was a question, Paul, and I just wanted to say, Paul, somewhere we must not insult each other. To say that we don't know whether it's breakfast or lunch and so on, it's an insult. And I think the question that you have asked was clearly responded to. Whether you are happy with the answer or not, make it your own business.
Thank you, General, and we'll have to do some time.
The floor has been closed. We will not entertain one-on-one questions with any of the generals. They are heading to a meeting where they will be meeting with the relevant stakeholders to be briefed on the latest developments. Thank you very much, colleagues, and have a lovely evening.
And that's where we're going to come out as they start wrapping up the briefing there. Lieutenant General Kgomotso Phahlane, who's the Acting National Police Commissioner, briefing the media about their state of readiness for tomorrow's marches. And they're saying that they're prepared for any eventuality across the country where the marches and protest action is going to be taking place. Of course, these marches, many of them largely organized by Save South Africa, wanting the president to step down. But there was a point of controversy this evening where the police commissioner, acting police commissioner, said that the marches in Pretoria are illegal and not allowed to take place. This despite the mayor of Tshwane, Solim Simanga, earlier this evening saying that that is not true, that those marches go on. And also that Safe South Africa went to the courts this evening and they got an interdict from the courts saying that permission is granted. And then earlier this evening as well, the presidency has issued a statement saying that the presidency has noted media reports that it has opposed a protest to march to the Union buildings in Pretoria tomorrow, 7 April. The presidency respects the right of South Africans to protest peacefully as enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. The presidency is thus not opposed to the march by Save SA at the Union buildings. So the presidency says it's okay to march. The mayor says it's okay. The court said it's okay, and the police still not so sure. But we'll see how that plays out. Sport coming up after the weather. For me, good night.
Very good evening and welcome. Let's have a look at your